Bonjour mes amis, and welcome to another adventure in French. Today's adventure is the 6.1 vocabulary from our favorite textbook, Bien dit, Level 1. And this vocabulary is all about food. So let's get started. The first word on our vocabulary is le bacon. Le bacon. And you've probably guessed that means bacon. That's right. Le bacon. It's a true cognate. Let's move on to number 2. Le beurre. Le beurre. Le beurre. And that's the French way of saying butter. All right, next. Un bol. Un bol. Un bol. And that's how we say bowl. That was probably pretty close, wasn't it? All right, next one. Le café au lait. Le café au lait. And this comes straight into English from French. It's coffee with milk, or café au lait. And here's how you make it. You take a steaming hot pot of coffee, you take a nice hot pitcher of milk, you pour them into a bowl at the same time, and that's café au lait, a truly French coffee treat, and you ought to try one. You get a chance next time. All right, un couteau. Un couteau. Un couteau. That's how we say knife. Next one. Un croissant. Un croissant. And not surprisingly, that's the French word for croissant. And the word also means crescent. And because it's a crescent-shaped roll, hence the name, un croissant. Well, that was easy. Next one. Le déjeuner. Le déjeuner. Le déjeuner. And that's how we say lunch. Okay, number 8. Le dîner. Le dîner. Le dîner. And you're not surprised to find out that's how we say supper or dinner. Okay, next up. Le jus. Le jus. Le jus. Notice we don't say that final S. It means juice. All right. Now let's do le lait. Le lait. Le lait. And that's the word for milk. Our next word, ananas. 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 All right, and notice the down low, the O and the E written close together, has that sound. Notice we do pronounce the F because F is one of the 4 final consonants that we normally pronounce in French words, the others being C, R, and L. And enough is how we say egg. Now, the interesting thing about this word is when we add our S to make it plural, we lose the F sound. It's true. So in the singular, it's enough. In the plural, it's les œufs. Interesting. All right, that brings us to un pamplemousse. Un pamplemousse. I love this word. Un pamplemousse. And that's how we say good old grapefruit. Okay, let's try number 13. Un petit déjeuner. Un petit déjeuner. So there we see the word petit. We know that means small or little. And un petit déjeuner is breakfast. Or as the French like to think of it, the little lunch. All right, next. Le poivre. Le poivre. Le poivre. Pepper. Like salt and pepper. Okay, that brings us to un repas. Un repas. Un repas. And that is meal. Le sel. Le sel. Le sel. And that's the word for salt. So now you've got salt and pepper. Le sel et le poivre. On we go. Le toast. Le toast. Le toast. And do I really need to say it? It means toast. Okay? We go on to un verre. Un verre. Un verre. And that's the word for glass, like the glass you drink out of. Okay? That brings us to une assiette. Une assiette. Une assiette. Notice we've moved into our feminine nouns now. Assiette is the word for plate. And I'll just give you a hint. Anytime you see a word that ends in E-T-T-E in French, you can be guaranteed that it is feminine. You'll see several of those. The next one, une baguette. Une baguette. Une baguette. It ends in E-T-T-E. It is feminine, and it means baguette, which is that long loaf of French bread, hard on the outside, very soft on the inside. Next, une banane. Une banane. Une banane. And of course, it means banana. All right? Les céréales. Les céréales. Les céréales. All right, notice it's feminine. It is plural, and it means cereal. You probably guessed that, but it's a plural noun in French. All right? And we're on the second half of our words now with la confiture. La confiture. La confiture. And that's how you say jam, like the kind of jam you eat. All right? Une cuillère. Une cuillère. Une cuillère. And this is something you eat with. It's a spoon. All right, let's see what's coming up next. Une fourchette. Une fourchette. Une fourchette. Again, it ends in E-T-T-E. It is feminine, and it means fork. Okay, here we come with une nappe. Une nappe. Une nappe. Be careful on this one. It makes you think it's something that it's not. It actually means tablecloth. You want to think it might mean napkin because of the NAP, but it doesn't. It means tablecloth. Okay, next up, une orange. Une orange. Une orange. And do I really need to say it? I will. It means orange. Okay, our next vocabulary word, une pomme. Une pomme. Une pomme. And that's how we say good old apple. Now you know apples and oranges. All right, that brings us to une serviette. Une serviette. Une serviette. Again, notice E-T-T-E. It's feminine. And this one means napkin. All right, une nappe, tablecloth. Une serviette, napkin. All right, number 30. Une tasse. Une tasse. Une tasse. And une tasse is a cup. All right, going on. Une tartine. Une tartine. Une tartine. And that is, it's a bread with a spread. In English, we call them tartines too. They're just not as popular as they are in France. A tartine is simply a slice of bread with some sort of spread on it. It's an open-faced sandwich, so there are many different kinds of tartines, and that's what it is. Okay, moving on. All right, we move out of nouns and we move into verbs. Here's a regular ER verb, déjeuner. Déjeuner. Excuse me. Déjeuner. All right, we know that le déjeuner was lunch, so you won't be surprised to find out that déjeuner, the verb, means to eat lunch or to have lunch. Leave it to the French to have a verb, to lunch. Interesting, huh? Next one up. Another verb, dîner, a regular ER verb. All right, and just like le dîner was supper or dinner, dîner is to dine or to have supper or to eat dinner, that kind of thing. All right, so two eating verbs. Let's see what's next. An adjective. Délicieux. Délicieuse. Délicieux, délicieuse. Délicieux, délicieuse. Notice the masculine is EUX, so the feminine is going to end in EUSC, and of course you know that means delicious. All right, our next, d'habitude. 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 And that means usually. A good old adverb. Another adverb, vraiment. 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 And that means really. Number 37, excuse me. Je prends le petit déjeuner. This is a phrase. Je prends le petit déjeuner. It means I'm having breakfast. Je prends literally means I take. The French breakfast is not something you have, it's something you take. So, je prends le petit déjeuner. And that petit déjeuner should have a hyphen. My bad. I'm sorry. Please put it in there. All right. After that, comment tu trouves la confiture? Comment tu trouves la confiture? Literally, how do you find the jam? Or that's just a polite way of asking, how do you like the jam? How do you find it? How do you like it? All right, next up. Comment est la confiture? Comment est la confiture? Comment est la confiture? And that's just a straight translation. How is the jam? How is the jam? All right, so it's asking for your opinion. Next up. Elle est comment la confiture? Elle est comment la confiture? Notice this time we not only use confiture, but we use the pronoun elle. Literally, it is how the jam. And that's the French way of emphasizing. How is the jam? They don't emphasize the word with extra voice. They use it by repeating the noun with the subject pronoun and the noun itself. So this is emphasizing how is the jam. All right? La confiture est bonne. La confiture est bonne. And literally, the jam is good. All right? Very easy. The jam is good. Okay. All right. What if you wanted to emphasize the jam is good? Well, here's how you do that. Elle est bonne, la confiture. Again, you use the subject pronoun for confiture, which is elle, and then you repeat the noun, la confiture, and that's the way of saying the jam is good. You're emphasizing that it's the jam that's good. All right? Next up. Il est vraiment mauvais, or elle est vraiment mauvaise. Il est vraiment mauvais, elle est vraiment mauvaise. And that's how you would say, it is really bad. Whether if it's masculine, you use il. If the noun is feminine, you're going to use elle. Or you could say, il est vraiment bon, or elle est vraiment bonne. It's really good. All right, you get it. And the last one in this vocabulary. Je mets le couvert. Je mets le couvert. Notice we don't say this T at all in mets. Je mets le couvert. And that's how the French say, I am setting the table. It literally means I am putting on the cover. So the word table is found nowhere in here, but we know what it means. Je mets le couvert. I am setting the table. And that brings us to the end of the 6.1 food vocabulary. I hope it's whetted your appetite for more French. You know I'll see you sometime very, very soon. Au revoir, mes amis. À bientôt.